What's going on, guys? This is Miasin. So a bunch of new cards have just been announced for Photon Nightmare. There you go, now I know it. Hold on a second, it might not even be that. I'm pretty sure it is. And yeah, we've got some new Snake Eye, DIABELLESTARR, and also a new archetype announced. And a lot of very interesting cards to cover overall, so I had to make a video on it. Anyways, before this video starts, you already know the drill. As always, friendly reminder to smash the like and subscribe button. And now let's get right into it. Alright, so the first one is Snake Eye Populous. Reminds me of nothing, actually. Level 1 Fire Pyro, rekindling stats, kind of, I think. You can only use each effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is added to your hand except by drawing it, you can special summon it. This is already good because the Ash, the Excel, whatever, they changed the name. It can search a level 1 fire, and then you can search that and then special summon it. And it has an effect on normal or special, so you can add a Snake Eye spell or trap card from your deck to your hand, which obviously is very good. Like, I think there's not even that many Snake Eye cards out there. Hold on a second. Yeah, there's the... Yeah, there's like 4. Yeah, it's fine, though. I mean, the 1-for-1 doesn't count because you're probably going to be summoning the Ash off of the 1-for-1. But I guess... well, if you hard draw the Ash, at least it kind of gets you to, like, your engine in a way, so that's not too bad. But yeah, this card is definitely really good already, and it has a third effect. So if this card is sent to the graveyard, regardless of where, you can target one fire monster in your grave, place it face up in its owner spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. So that's also not too bad. It gets you more fuel for your Snake Eyes because they're really neggy. And now, yeah, you just have, like, better things to do with, you know, your resources. So I really like this card overall. 3 really good effects. Absolutely cannot complain. Fantastic card. Just want to double check, actually. Rekindling should be just fires with 200 defense. Yes, exactly. So this having 200 defense is just super relevant. Not bad at all. Decatron also has 200 defense, and a bunch of Fire Kings do. Anyways, Snake Eye Dramatic Chase, quickly spell. You can only use both effect of this card's name once per turn. Place one DIABELLESTARR monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up in its owner spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. So I have a bunch of things to say about this card. First of all, it says a DIABELLESTARR monster, which I just find funny because right now there's only one DIABELLESTARR. So yeah, this just hints that there's going to be more coming up in the future. And also I love the fact that it's like in its owner's spell and trap. Why did actually, hold on a second. No, yeah, it's from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So it doesn't matter. So it's, yeah, I mean, I guess if you use like exchange and then you steal your opponent's DIABELLESTARR, then when you use this card to place it from your hand, if it's like your opponent's DIABELLESTARR, it actually places it in your opponent's spell and trap zone. So that's the reason why the word owner here is relevant, but apart from that, it's actually just so redundant and stupid, like most of the time. So yeah, whatever, like this is very interesting, but either way, this effect, I'm not a really big fan. Doesn't really make you go +1 or anything, just places a card that doesn't do anything in the spell and trap zone. So it's kind of dog shit, at least for now, but it has potential in the future. But the second effect is where it's at. So during the end phase, your opponent's end phase, you can banish this card from your grave, then target one monster card treated as a continuous spell you control, special summon it. This should be an ignition-like effect, just like Shizuku. So it doesn't have to be a trap card. It's not like a quick effect that just, you know, happens whenever you want. It's like, it waits until like a specific trigger point, and then it just activates whenever. So that's actually not too bad because there's a bunch of cards that you can special summon from your spell and trap zone out of, like, you got them from your graveyard and your spell and trap zone, and then from your spell and trap zone into the field pretty much for free. So this card is just free real estate. I am not gonna complain. This is actually pretty good. Alright, so that's it for the DIABELLESTARR and Snake Eye cards. Now let's get into the new archetype, which is the Goblin Rider from, again, Photon Nightmare, the set with Yubel. The first one is Goblin Rider, Doug, the Assaulter, Earth Warrior, level 3. They're all, I think, level 3s. You can only use both effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is in your hand, you can detach one Xyz material from a monster on the field, and if you do, special summon this card. Very interesting how you're detaching an Xyz monster from a Xyz material from a monster on the field, not necessarily on your field. So it's not a cost, but still, you can detach your opponent's material from Expurli Noir. It doesn't target the material, so your opponent will have to, like, use a bunch of effects, and then, like, you can still detach a material and then still special summon this card. And as a free added bonus, on normal or special, you get to add a Goblin Rider spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. There is no reason for me to criticize this effect yet because we don't know a single Goblin Rider spell or trap, but we're going to be learning this as we keep proceeding. Alright, now we got Goblin Rider, Clutter, the Noisy, Fire, Beast Warrior. looks like they all have different attributes and types, which means that there can only be one as good in the deck, but Goes and Match hurts it, and Rivalry obviously hurts it. Level 3, 1500 attack, you can only use both effect once per turn. If this card is normal or special, you can target one goblin monster in your grave except itself, special summon it. It's a monster reborn for any goblin monster, but realistically, like, goblin monsters, like, before this archetype were just complete garbage. Like, you're not gonna play a single one. I already reviewed all of them. Don't even bother. They suck. There's also, like, a level 4 monster that's been revealed, like, not too long ago. It's a goblin, but it's like, absolute dog shit. Hold on a second. Yeah, Goblin Paratrooper Squad. Like, what is this? Like, you're not playing this card. Yeah, it's very big copium. Anyways, oh, it has a second effect. I'm so sorry. During your opponent's main phase, if this card is in your grave, quick effect, you can detach one Xyz material from a monster on the field, and if you do, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can actually, like, cockblock your opponent's Zeus with this card, which I really like. So, like, basically almost an interruption. Not only that, but also, like, you revive itself back, you don't negate its effect, and then you get to revive back another goblin monster. That goblin monster can have, like, another effect that makes you go +1. So, off of your opponent's Xyz material, you can go from 0 cards on field, 0 cards in hand, to 2 cards on field, and a card in hand. That's actually kind of freaking cool. I really like that. So, this card is absolutely amazing. It's a monster reborn, and it monster reborns itself. And this card obviously is good because it's an extender in the hand and a searcher for Goblin Spell or Trap. So far, everything is fantastic. Anyways, we're not done yet. Goblin Rider, Boon, sorry, the match speed, Wind Warrior. Okay, never mind, actually. So this is a warrior, which means that there can only be one, might not be too great. Level 3 during the main phase. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can quick effect. You cannot special. I hate when they say that. You can, you cannot. Like, I hate when the drawback is, like, before the actual effect. Like, it should be the other way around. Anyways, you cannot special summon blah 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 itself until the end of the next turn. Also, detach when it Xyz material from a monster on the field, and if you do, special summon this card. Very complicated way of saying that as a quick effect on either player's main phase, you can special summon this card by detaching a material from your opponent's monster or your monster, and then, like, you can't summon this card again for the rest of the turn. Whatever, who cares? This card's whatever. It's not fantastic. It's not I mean, it's not garbage either. But yeah, Goblin Rider Mianda, the Cold-Blooded, Water Fiend. Okay, wow, so we got 2 warriors and a fiend. Again, 4 different attributes. Yes, okay, cool. So we're just missing light and dark. Okay, I kind of spoiled it. Anyways, you can only use, yeah, whatever. If this card is normal or special, you can special summon a goblin monster from your hand except itself. Yeah, I mean, that's like the worst mechanic, but it's not too bad. If this card is in your grave, you can detach one Xyz material from a monster on the field, and if you do, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Again, the loophole is to use these monsters as Xyz materials, and now you might be thinking, but Yak Sign, we don't, what Xyz monster can you summon with these monsters? This one right here, Goblin Rider, Big Head, Gabonga. Okay, so he's, oh, Big Head boy. Light, Beast War, speaking of the devil, and the next one is dark, of course, no shit. So now we've got all 6 attributes of the rainbow. Let's go. Generic 2 level 3 monsters. Ooh, must be nice. You can only use all 3 effects once per turn. And this card is Xyz Summon. You can add 1 goblin monster from your deck to your hand. This is already good enough. But it gets better. If an Xyz material is detached from monsters on the field, regardless of which ones, you can target 1 other face-up monster on the field, attach it to this card as material. That can be an interruption on your opponent's turn, because you have the quick effect of either this or this, where you can detach a material from an Xyz monster, and that is going to be triggering this effect, and then you can target, like, your opponent's monster and then attach it to this card. So that's actually really freaking cool. I really like that. So yeah, it's a searcher, an interruption, and it actually sets up the second effect with the first effect, because you get to search for this one. And again, this is a quick effect on either player's main phase. So yeah, this is like single-handedly an interruption. I really like that. But it gets better. During each end phase, you can attach 1 goblin monster from your deck to this card as a material. The goblin monsters don't really do anything when they're like attached, but rather like in the graveyard and the hand and stuff like that. So I don't know how relevant this is, but I mean, at least you get to get more names up in your grave, and then you get to like set up a few grave effects like this grave effect and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely not too bad. And also, this effect, yeah, okay, yeah, no, it is definitely relevant. And also, you can easily get to, like an 8 material Zeus over time with this card, because you just keep attaching, like, materials to it back to back to back. Like, your opponent's monsters And then during each end phase, like your end phase, your opponent's end phase, you always attach materials over and over. So that's actually really freaking awesome. I am definitely a fan, but we're not done yet again. Goblins, Crazy Beast, Dark Fiend, 2+ level 6 monsters. I wonder how you can summon this card in the Goblin deck because we have no level 6 monsters yet. Don't worry. You can only use the third effect of this card once per duel. Okay, alright. You can tell that this card is not too bad. Once per turn, quick effect, you can target one spell or trap on the field, detach 2 materials from monsters on the field, and if you do attach that card to this card as a material. This is like so disrespectful, I love it. So you can like use your opponent's Xyz monsters to like detach both materials. Now imagine your opponent goes, oh, I'll summon Gigantic, and you're like, okay, yeah, effect, okay, yeah, chain, detach your materials, and then shuffle back, like, attach, like, your opponent's spells and traps to it. This is ridiculous. Yeah, this is basically like a double interruption in one. Oh my god, I love the fact that you're detaching from anyone, like, purely looks like the easiest matchup for this deck. Like, you will never have to worry about, like, an unaffected by card effect purely noir, because the monster will never have materials. You just keep detaching everything away. Oh my god. Anyways, if a monster or monsters you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can detach one material from this card instead. Yeah, this is just like a continuous effect. It just happens. It's now once per turn. So yeah, you can just keep protecting everything over and over. And it has 2700 attacks, so it's definitely a big boy. It looks like an insect. Yeah, apparently not. Anyways, if this card is in your grave, you can special summon it, then you can attach one goblin monster from your graveyard to it as a material. This is the once per duel effect, so obviously it's extremely good. But yeah, you have to properly summon this card first, and remember that this is a rank 6 monster, so again, how are you going to be summoning this card? Well, again, this is where everything starts making sense. Grand Gathering of the Goblin Rider's continuous spell. You can only use the third effect of this guy's once per turn. So goblin monsters you control gain 300 attack for each goblin monster you control. Doesn't have to be like for each goblin with different names. So you can have the same goblin 3 times and they all gain 900 attack, which is not too bad because they initially start off very weak. So at least you have a little bit more juice, I guess, with this card. So it's definitely respectable. During your main phase, you can normal summon one goblin monster in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. Reminds me of another goblin monster that got banned for having the exact same effect, Nightmare Goblin. So I think this is Konami just, you know, like this is a reference to like a goblin monster that already gave you this effect. So that's actually really cool. Anyways, 3, you can target 2 goblin monsters you control that have a level. So in other words, 2 non-Xyz or Link monsters to activate one of these effects. So the level of one of them becomes the level of the other, or their levels becomes their total original levels. So in other words, you can target 2 level 3 monsters and they both become level 6. That way you can make the rank 6 monster. And you can also, yeah, you know, like you can end on both monsters maybe turn 1 because you have so many extenders in this deck already. And again, an extra normal summon of a goblin monster, so that's very awesome. But yeah, you can search this card because it's a Goblin Rider with the first monster that I talked about. This one right here on summon. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this one right here. Alright, so that's pretty cool. Anyways, we're not done yet. Again, we've got a Grand Entrance of the Goblin Riders. Normal spell, you can only use the first and second effect of disguising once per turn. Add 1 goblin monster from your deck to your hand, then you can detach 1 Xyz material from a monster on the field. And if you do special summon 1 level 4 or lower goblin monster from your hand. So this card is always a reinforcement of the army, but if you have an Xyz monster on the field, or I mean if there's any Xyz monster on the field with any material, you can detach it from that monster and then basically special summon a goblin right away. It could be the goblin that you searched. So it can almost be like a special summon from deck almost, if there's an Xyz on the field again. So that's actually really nice. You can banish this card from a grave, detach 1 Xyz material from a monster on the field. Again, I feel really bad for Expurely Noir having to deal with this deck. Then you can add 1 goblin monster from your grave to your hand. You get a little bit of recursion. Oh, actually, this card's nasty because you get to search from your deck to your hand, and then you get to recycle back from grave to hand. That's nuts. Anyways, the final card is Goblin Rider Stampede. Continuous trap, you can only use 1 of the first and second effect of this card's game once per turn, and only once that turn. Okay, so you have to choose between both. That's kind of frustrating. Yeah, I hate these cards. Like, I mean, it would have been nice if it was like a trap card that had like 2 effects and then you can use both effects, but when it's a continuous trap where you can't really do everything, it's just like kind of garbage because it's a trap card too, it's slow. Anyways, during the main phase, you can immediately after this effect resolves, Xyz summon using only goblin monsters you control as material. I mean, nah, yeah, that's not, yeah, that's kind of garbage. If you control a Goblin Xyz monster, you can target one effect monster on the field, detach one Xyz material from a monster on the field, and if you do, negate that target's effect until the end of this turn. I feel like this effect is infinitely better. Again, it would have been nice if you could actually use both effects right away, because the second effect benefits off of the first one resolving. Like this gets you to your Goblin Xyz, and then this makes it so that with your Goblin Xyz, you get to negate an opponent's monster, detach a material, and then trigger the second effect of the Goblin rank 3 that makes you attach a monster. So that's, you know, I can already see where you can like interrupt your opponent, but so far this archetype doesn't look like it's too focused on stunning the opponent, because this is like one monster negation, and then this is like a quick effect, detach your like Xyz materials and then attach like a spell or trap card on the field, and then this attaches an opponent's monster to it. So it does target, but it doesn't destroy, which is nice. And yeah, that's it, like interruption wise. And then obviously like the couple of effects where you're always detaching Xyz materials from your opponent's potential Xyz monsters, that could kind of be viewed as an interruption. But yeah, what do you guys think about this archetype? Do you think it's a potential future tier 1? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget again to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.